Hey y'all, John here from Second Chance Composting. SecondChanceComposting.com is our website. Please like and subscribe to our videos. We do a lot about composting, equipment, how we started our business, our journey as entrepreneurs, and just like to share it with people to learn, educate, and have a good time doing it. So we serve the Berkshires, Mass, Southern Vermont, other parts of Western Mass for all sorts of composting needs. Pickup and hauling food scraps, leaves, wood chips, sawdust, manure. We process the material at our facility into compost, and then we sell the finished compost. So we're kind of operating two businesses, a hauling business, processing business with the sales of the compost. So today I'm going to talk about our totes. This is something we started 3 years ago, and we've learned quickly what's worked, what hasn't worked for us, different options, things like that. So I'm going to go through some of that. Hopefully it'd be interesting enough and help somebody out. And if you got to see part one, River was here, and these are not only beneficial to us as a business to be able to help make us money through our hauling, but also River likes to play in them. So we rinse them every time with a pressure rinse system. So anytime I'm getting them out, like the video earlier, a few minutes ago, I was getting them out of storage, and River decided to jump in one because she's used to riding them around. She likes to close the lid, ride around the yard a little bit. So they're not only useful and help us as a business that way, but they're also fun and creating good memories for her. So that's a plus too. So here we go. I'm going to talk again. I'm just going to don't really have much plan here, but I'll talk about how this has worked for us and what we do. So these are our standard 32-gallon tote. These are made by a company called Cascade. We get them used from a place called B&G Sales. I think they're in Michigan, so they send them to us. Now the thing is, because they're used, we get them cheaper. Let me see. You can see here behind our logo, there's this stamp here. This doesn't come off behind there, so because they're used, they have this marking on them that covers up the marking before. Didn't really matter to us starting the business that way. I could cover it up and make it look professional to some degree. It's only on one side, so that's kind of a downside, but the price in not buying anything new when there's already enough of these around was really a key for us, because we're all about saving things and waste reduction and reuse and repurpose. So buying a bunch of these new plastic totes would be worthless when there's so many of them out there that are used and totally functional and good. So these are good. I'm going to take this off for a second just to show you a little bit more about it. That's kind of what I'll do here. So we put a sticker on them, food waste only. People don't always listen, but so for these, good and bad, we got these, and they kind of go on with the lid like that. The lid comes off. This pops out here. You can see that will pop out, and it's just a kind of a pin in there. So if you want to get the lid off, you kind of got to hit it with a little screwdriver and hammer to get it off. These were not ideal. Now the company we bought them from was helpful in making it right and giving us some money back, but these would not stay on. So these pins would not stay in. So we actually had to drill them in with this little screw, which was quite annoying, but they've held up since we've done that. We don't plan to ever take the things off. The wheels come on and off. Not the easiest to get off, but very simple to get on. So, and also for these, the roll bar is on the outside. So these are 32-gallon. The roll bar is on the outside, or the tip bar, whatever you want to call it. So that there's no opening to the outside. These are good size, not a lot of nooks and crannies in there. For the most part, we can get it very clean with the pressure washer. Sometimes we got to go at a different angle or something, but these are our standard. So this is what we use. I'm going to put you back here. Sorry for the up and down here. Those are what we use for for nearly all of our accounts. These are what we bought second after we bought our other ones, which I'll show you next. So these are sturdy. We haven't had any problem with them breaking. We've had one break, but it was our fault. It was extremely heavy. We were lifting off a trailer and popped down and the bottom broke. That was our fault. The weight capacity, we've never had any problem with the weight capacity on these, lifting them or anything like that. So these are really good. These, again, these are standard 32-gallon tote from Cascade, from B&G Sales online. I don't remember how much they cost exactly, but with shipping is really what gets you. So these are probably, I think it's somewhere in the ballpark of over $100 each with shipping. They're cheap, per part. I think they were like 40, 45 per tote, but it's really the shipping that costs you a lot. So just be mindful of that. That's number one. Number two, these are the ones we originally started the business with. As you can tell, like a little bit more old school. We have the stenciled on spray painted logo. So these also had a mark under here. What we did is bought spray paint and sprinted over it with a blue, so you can't even see that mark anymore. These are 35-gallon. These actually are better for the wheels. These wheels come on and off very simply. You pop that thing on the outer side out, and then it's able to take the bar out. Very simple to get these on and off. These aren't as quite heavy duty as these other ones, but we've never had any problem with these as far as breaking or not being able to hold the material. The downside to these is these are not made for food scraps specifically. Those by the other ones by name are either not called organic totes, but they have the tip bar on the outside. These have the tip bar here on the outside, but it goes directly to the inside. So let me show you this. This is kind of important. This was a big learning experience for us the first year. So I knew it when I bought them. I bought them anyway. I was new to this. This roll bar comes in and out, but as you can see, there's a little hole there and on each side. So that actually goes into the inside right there. If you can see it, there's a hole. So any liquid that's in there, if you have the liquid up over this part, it will come out of these holes. So we only use these on very specific accounts that we know don't have liquid in their totes, because we don't use any bags. So when I bought these, I did seal them all with a caulking agent. I don't remember exactly what it was, but as you can see, it's already come off. I did it on both sides, inside and outside. It was time consuming, and looking back, it was not worth it for the time I put in and money, which I could have just bought the other ones for a little bit more. So don't recommend it, because now I have to be more mindful about what we do with these because of that part. But that was not on the company or anything. I knew that going in. It was one of our first purchases as a business. So these are by Cascade as well. Same company, B&G Sales. I like these a lot. These are great. No problem lifting. Only issue is that roll bar on the outside. Just be mindful that if you use bags in your composting hauling system, obviously not a problem, or not as much of one, but for us, it's an issue because we don't use bags. But these are other standards, so we kind of use these interchangeably. These are 35 gallons, so there's a little bit more room in them, but we try to keep these at specific accounts where it makes more sense. So again, very happy with them. We went with the 32 and 35 because we were told when we did our research that if you're going to be doing this by hand, which we were doing at the time, lifting these up into our truck, which we did for a long time, the weight capacity on these will be very heavy. I mean, with two people, you can get them up onto our trailer. You're not going to lift them by hand into that truck behind me, though. They're that heavy. So you need two people, and it's very labor intensive. And that's only the 32 gallons full to the brim. So we were told if you're going to go get totes, 48 is pretty much the maximum that you're going to want to get if you plan to do this by hand. If you have machinery to lift them, which we now do have, you can move up to 64 gallon, but there's also the issue of safety with that. So anything over 48 gallon that's filled of food scraps, you're getting into a dangerous zone for your employees, staff at the places that you work with. So we don't recommend using 64 gallon, even with our tipper on our trailer, which can tip pretty heavy weight. If we use a 64 gallon tote, we have to put a fill line on it with a sticker or tape to let them know not to fill it past a certain point, which gets confusing. So we tend to avoid those as much as possible. We did get some 64 gallon totes for free, and we didn't turn them down for other uses, but you don't want to go much over 48 gallon if you're gonna be hauling food scraps, whether it be by hand or machinery. Again, our machine can lift these a 48 gallon tote full, but you can tell it's pretty much at its capacity. So again, we don't recommend anything higher than that for food scraps. Some people do it, some other companies do. I wouldn't, just for safety reasons, for upkeep of your equipment, treating your equipment right, not going over any sort of weight regulations. And again, for customers, I mean, it's simple to say to them, hey, it's 32 gallon tote. Yeah, it's heavy, but it's on 2 wheels and you can roll it even full to wherever you need it to be. 48 gallon, very hard to roll that. So let me show you these next. These are the 48 gallon tote containers that we use. These are by a company called Toter, which is a very well-known company in the composting realm. We use these sparingly at specific accounts that have a large amount of material. So instead of using 12 of these, 32 gallons at a place, we can use maybe 8 or so of these. So we rinse everything out each time, so it just makes more sense to do it that way for us. So we do have these on hand. We got these used as well from another composter in the state that got them from another source, and we pressure rinse them and put our logo and everything on them. So got them for a pretty good deal, so they can get a lot done. So again, 48 gallon tote. These are by Toter, and the roll bar is not in here on this one. I took it off, but the roll bar, tip bar is on the outside. Very hard to get on and off, but so that's that. Again, these get tough to lift when it's really heavy. You're almost not going to be able to lift these with 2 people. Maybe you could. Wouldn't recommend it. If you're going to move up to this, you're going to want to have machinery or enough people to do it. So let me show you this. These are a little bit different style. A little bit more nooks and crannies in there. Stuff gets stuck a little bit more, but not a huge deal. As you can see, I bought these used, some chewing from previous animals, things like that. Not a problem. Most of them were in really usable, good condition. So, again, we pressure rinse them. These come in handy for those big accounts, like I said. Let me put this back. If you have an account that's using a lot and you want to make the pickup easier and don't feel like having to rinse 12 totes and you'd rather rinse 8, these come in really handy. So we have a lot of these on hand as well. Very heavy duty and sturdy. These are really strong, significantly thicker than these other 2 from B&G or from Cascade B&G company. Very happy with these. I'd like to get more big accounts to be able to use these at. Easy enough. Even when these are full, we can get them over to our truck and they lift them. So those are our 3 standards. We've been happy with all of them. There's, like I said, the roll bar on one with the holes is an issue. That was our bad. On the 48, getting the wheels on and off is a problem. I don't know why they don't make these things more interchangeable. The lid I've never had to take off of there. doesn't look like it'd be very easy to do. Nice thing about these is these 48s stack even with the wheels in them, which is convenient if you need to be swapping stuff out. These 32s and 35s do not stack with the wheels out, or with the wheels in them. And as I said, the 32s are very hard to get the wheels off. These, not too bad to get the wheels off. You could actually, you know, if you had to take them off in the morning, stack them up high and bring them somewhere, it wouldn't be horribly labor intensive, whereas the 32s is almost impossible to do that. The 48s, I haven't had to take any of this off. I don't think I'd want to have to. Again, the roll bar itself, I had to put on and take off. One, I can't even get it off of one of them. I'm gonna have to get some sort of tool to do it because it's in there so strong. You have to actually hit it in with a hammer to get it in there. So you know the roll bar is not going anywhere. And these all are compatible with our lift. So you have to measure the weight or the length of the ground to where the bar is in order to know where to put your lift. But we found that we measured it when we bought our lift. We got it measured to use our 32s, and we found that we can use the 48s, the 16s, pretty much anything else we found will still fit onto our lift. Let me show you a couple more here. And price is a factor in these. Those 48s we got used for, I think, $45 a piece. But you're talking probably with shipping and stuff. I don't even know. Far over 100 if that's what I paid for the 32s. So, but the Toter company, they're pretty standard in composting, and again, those feel much stronger than the other ones. I'm happy with all three though. This is what we sometimes keep our sawdust in. This is a 32-gallon container from Walmart. So let me show you this one. This is cheaply made. This is like, these will break very easily. The lid is on there, simple to put together, easy enough, but you're not lifting food scraps with these. There's no roll bar. The wheels are very small. This will tip back, but for certain uses, very important. I didn't feel like using the expensive 32-gallon totes to have at places to keep sawdust. So, and this is before I had a lot of totes that I got. I got some donated and things like that. So I was kind of really working with a minimal amount of totes, or just enough. So instead of going buying a huge load of the 32s from B&G, which they have to send them and shipping and thousands of dollars, I just decided to go to Walmart and get some of these for like $20 or $30. I can't remember exactly what. These come in handy. We basically use these just for sawdust. They're kind of homeowner style, simple. We don't lift anything up in these really. There's no food scraps that go in these. You wouldn't want to, they'll break. If this was full of food scraps, it would almost, if you ever put it down, it would probably break. You wouldn't be able to lift it with the bar. This would not last long at all. These other ones we've had to, not on purpose, but we try to treat them right, but the up and down and the rinsing and upside down and this way and slamming them out to get the food scraps out, those take a lot of abuse. These wouldn't last 2 days doing what we do, but for sawdust and for how cheap they were, we recommend these too. So, let me show you a couple more. This is a 16-gallon tote that we actually got an order of these donated from a city that was using them and didn't need them anymore. We have yet to find a consistent use for these, but we do bring these to the farmer's market with us. It's smaller, easier to handle. These also lift up on our trailer. So the cool thing about these is, you can see it's got this locking pin at the top. So I'll show you here. Close it, pop it. Now it's locked. Can you see that? It's locked. And you just pop it off. So these help at places where if you're open to the general public and people just kind of throw things in there without reading. That lock will actually at least stop people enough to read, maybe, hopefully, the top. I wouldn't bet on it, but it's another extra stop along the way for them to take their cup or their piece of trash and say, oh, wait, I guess I'm not supposed to put this in there. There's a lock on it. It's not an actual lock. It just holds it shut. There's no key or anything like that. So these are nice. These are heavy duty. They have the roll bar on the outside. These are made for organics. Nice sturdy wheels. We tried to get the wheels off of these on another one, and we couldn't, so that's all kind of on there. But we're happy with these. We have a bunch that we got, but we're yet to find real use for them other than one or two here or there at the farmer's market. But we got them because I know that we're always growing and coming up with different ideas and things. So we'll probably use them one day. Very strong, very sturdy. The plastic's actually more heavy duty than our 32 or 35s on these. It's really strong. These are good, solid. These are hard to find. You really, I've yet to find these. Very hard to find these online. The 16-gallon, which is a nice size for like a homeowner or something like that. But yeah, that's another option too. And let me show you a few more here. These are kind of new to us, so we also got these donated, so we took them. I don't even know the company. Let's see here. Vermin Vault. These are animal resistant. You make of that what you will. It's got this locking bar, this locking lid, unlock, lock. Pretty simple. These are 16 gallons as well. I've got these donated as well, and these are nice for applications where folks say they have raccoons or little critters. Give them a little bit of squirrels, things like that. Give them a little confidence that it's got the locking lid on it. It's very simple to do. We don't have much experience when these are heavy duty. They kind of feel like the 16s in their weight. The roll bars on the outside, perfect for food scraps. I like these a lot. Haven't had much use with them yet, but they'll come in handy at some point when I have an account that says, hey, do you have something that locks? These will come in handy. And then we come to this. This is they call it bear proof. I think it's more of an animal proof. Back to the varmint one. That's not bear proof. None of these are actually. Bears will destroy these in a minute. Even the one with the lid on it, they can rip that right off. This one is supposed to be, bear resistant or animal resistant minimally. We haven't tried it yet, but we got this used secondhand from a homeowner, and she told me that she never had a problem with anything getting into it. It's got these lock pins on top, and then it opens up. And let me show you this one. Roll bar is on the outside, perfect for food scraps. I think that's pretty standard. And then it's got this steel around the rim, which the lid just pops into, and then you lock it. And this is actually made by Toter. I think it's just this company. I'm not sure. They're called Barracuda. I might be purchasing some more different bear totes from them soon. But they, it looks like they just purchased standard Toters from Toter, and then outfit them to be animal resistant or proof, whatever they want to call it. Again, no use on our end of these yet. We just got this one in, but the person we bought it from had good things to say about how well they were. They performed with the animals. Let me think. So that's Barracuda, and the tote. It's actually from Toter, but Barracuda makes these. Barracuda also makes bear-proof totes. Now they're made of heavy plastic. They do not have this rim on the outside. I have not bought any yet. I actually have a grant that I'm just got, so I plan to buy some just to have some on hand. However, they're insanely expensive. You're talking $300 a piece for them. So really, you have to know that you're going to have an application for them that's going to make you enough money to get back. And they do make 32-gallon, so that's what I'm looking into. They're out of Connecticut, so I can avoid the shipping, which was crazy. The shipping to get them. So I think it was like $600, and I can if I pick them up at 75 for the pickup at the warehouse. So the shipping is really what gets you. So we're in Massachusetts. They're out of Connecticut, Barracuda Company. So if we do buy them, we're going to drive down and get them. They um, make a heavy-duty bear-proof tote that is supposed to be actually bear-proof, not just resistant. They're not bears apparently are not able to get into them. And that's why they're so expensive. We have yet to try them, but out of all the companies online that we can find that make uh, bear totes, that we haven't really found many, they've been the one that's been really talked up the most and seem to be like the standard for bear totes. I wish I had more experience uh, with that, but we found that the bear totes are not necessary anyway. Um, excuse me, our problem with animals and bears has been very minimal. The few cases we've had were from places that had bears before we started with them that were getting into their dumpster. So they already had a place and knew about it. And then when we brought our stuff, they were just getting into what had already been there. Any new company we've started with, any new business, restaurant, school, municipality, we've had no problems whatsoever with bears. None. Not one since we started 3 years ago. So, if you're just starting out, not worth it to invest in the bear totes. I find that you can find a lot of these online on Facebook. I've found a guy, like I said, in our state that does composting, and he's about an hour and 20, an hour and a half, hour 45 away, and he gets these and collects them and resells them used. So he's kind of like a source for us now, rather than buying them from a bigger company. But you can get them from other online sources, Toter, B&G. Um, there's a couple more I can't think of off the top of my head, but these are the ones we use after a lot of research. Enjoying my tea here. So, another thing I should mention. A lot of places, these don't lock, but a lot of places say, do you have anything to prevent like mice or squirrels or anything like that? So we get a bungee cord, bungee it from the back side here on the handle, and then we bungee it to the front, right onto the roll bar, the tip bar, with no problem. I mean, it's just, if it's a bear, they're getting in there and it doesn't matter, but it's kind of just gets in the way for like the squirrels and things where they can't just open it and get in there. So we'll do that for folks if they want it, if they request it, if they're not confident fully in composting. It all for us depends on the person. Some people that we work with know about how this works. Other people are really worried and scared about animals and things like that, and we reassure them, that you're not creating any more food scraps than you previously were. It's the same amount. You're just doing something different with it. So, and we actually offer a better system through our cleaning process, our rinsing, no bags, everything's consolidated into one place, and you're left behind with a fully rinsed tote every time. No liquids, no smell, totally clean. So, but if they're a little weary of it, we could say, hey, we got these bear totes. We've got the totes with the lids that lock. You want us to get you a couple bungee cords? No problem. Let's make it happen. So that's kind of our experience with the totes. It's been pretty good all around. I wish I could remember those other companies. If I do remember them, I'll put them in the description. But the 32, 35 are our standard. We do use the 48s for bigger accounts. Again, the 64s get to be really heavy. We have some on site for other uses, things such as sawdust on site. It's better than reloading sawdust so many times. I mean, one thing for us is we have a drop-off locations where we have food scraps and we have wood sawdust on site, and we bring it in these 32-gallon totes. Problem is, we have so many people accessing them. The sawdust is gone pretty much in a couple weeks now. So, in moving the sawdust in the bags to each location every week is a lot. So I think what I'm going to do this coming year, when sawdust time happens, is use the 64-gallon totes, fill those with the sawdust, and be able to leave those on site. More material sitting waiting there, one-time drop, don't have to keep, you know, it'll basically double the amount of sawdust I have on site at each location. So if somebody has totes and they're willing to give them away, I don't turn them down. I have enough place to store the stuff. I rinse everything out as soon as I get it. I got them from a guy, that composter I told you about. He told me they would be rinsed. They weren't. Some were, and they weren't rinsed that well, the ones that were. So be mindful of that. We rinsed everything out fully after, and asked for some money back because it took us 2.5 hours to rinse them all properly. We set pretty high standards for cleaning and rinsing. Same things with these ones from. We actually got these from the city of Cambridge through Mass DEP. They had a citywide program, and when we got them, they had some stuff in them, no problem. They told me they weren't fully rinsed. I didn't have an issue with it, so I went down and got those and rinsed them all. Couple hours. If you have help, you can pay them to do it. I'm still at the point where I'm doing it myself. Not a big deal. Start fresh, clean, things like that. So those are kind of my recommendations. We've been happy with all these. They all kind of have their own different use, but the 32 are perfect for our scale. I know another compost that uses the 48 as a standard, which I think is a good idea too. Either one would work for us, but we started with the 32. That's what we work with now. We're happy with them. It makes sense for us. So if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe to our videos. We do all sorts of composting, as I said before, and we're happy to share it, our experience, thoughts, a little bit of fun. So secondchancecomposting.com is the website. I look forward to sharing more with you. If you got anything you want to add or questions, feel free to comment down below. But for now, we'll let you go. Again, John from Second Chance Composting. Appreciate your time. Thanks.